Hello and welcome to the Subs Bench episode number 8. Today we're joined by a former player of mine, former teammate of Nabby's, and an ex-pro thrown in for good measure. So Dan Smith, welcome to the Subs Bench.
How are you boys? How's things?
Good.
Everything all right?
Yeah.
Away, man.
Bloody flying.
What time is it back there, mate?
You're looking at about it'll be 20 to 11 now, mate.
Yeah.
In the morning, and I haven't been out the house for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Hence why the grass 6 foot tall.
No, the grass actually looks like Wembley. It's 2 inches now. I'm not happy with it.
Oh, okay.
I've got obsessed with the grass now.
You got to get it zinging.
Like looking at us now, and I'm fucking fuming.
Get it nice and sharp like that fade, mate.
That's it.
Just want to see it again. Smudge, what's going on with the hair?
I went for a bic, so a 0 to a 7.
That looks good.
Just 0, then 7. No, do you like it?
I like it.
It's, you know what? It's not bad. We jest here, but it's not.
No, it's really shit. Really shit.
One side's shorter than the other, I reckon.
It is. That side's short. That's all right. Dad, I'm having that.
Yeah.
Just flip your chair. Just flip the chair around.
No, I'm just wearing a cap like that. That's all.
Looking well, mate. Looking well. Well, look, we'll get into the story. I think
right.
We could talk forever about what's happening in football across here, but we wouldn't be talking about much. So
how's it going over there with it? What's happening with it now?
We might be back in about 3 or 4 weeks, I reckon.
Right.
They've got meetings in the next few days talking about when we can get back training and this and that. But so I think it's just took the sting out of it for everyone, hasn't it? This big break, like.
Take it or leave it.
Must be spewing as well that Liverpool's going to win the league, but not win the league, if you know what I mean.
Have that little asterisk or whatever they call it, next to the name.
It's not really.
19 with
you haven't won the league, have you?
Nah.
You haven't won the league
not until they've celebrated it. So here's what we deserve to win. I think we'd all agree with that. But
unbelievable.
They've been superb. Former teammate of yours, actually. We'll touch upon that. So Henderson, we'll get into that in a second. But where did you start off playing? I mean, obviously you're from the same hometown as me.
Yeah.
You're from the rough part, though, aren't you, Pennywell?
I'm from the hard part. Third hardest in Pennywell at the time. Then I moved. But I started off playing for Tunstall Boys. My brother actually made the team. He started the team off, and then I think we had about 4 or 5 trialists went to Sunderland.
Yeah.
And then I think I was 7 or 8 at the time. I started Sunderland.
Yeah.
But before that, 7 and 8, I was actually at Newcastle for a year.
Yeah.
With John Carver.
Oh yeah.
Assistant manager he was at one point, money, and then he became
manager
I think for a while. Yeah. So I was there for a year, and then went to Sunderland, and then that was it. So I was there from 7 till 19, 20?
Yeah,
19?
20, I think. Yeah. So you did well through the next 5, 6, 7 years because international recognition came at under 15.
Start under 15s, yeah. You get obviously Lily Shaw at the time, which I don't even think it exists anymore, does it?
I don't think
it's not for. I think it's for maybe some other sport. But went down Lily Shaw. I think there was about 1,000 lads on like a trial sort of thing.
Yeah.
Played a few games, had a few sessions, and then to boil it down to the last. I think it was 20, squad of 22 or something like that. And then obviously I was in that squad from 15 to 19, 20s. I was on standby for the 20s, and then that was as far as it went, really.
Yeah. So it would have been in the England setup at the time, like lads from your year who've obviously gone on and kicked on. Who were you playing with on a regular basis for England?
Aaron Lennon.
Yeah.
Adam Johnson. Tom Heaton, who was at Burnley.
Yeah.
Tom Huddleston.
Still keep in touch with Adam Johnson at all, or?
No, I gave that one a wide berth, mate.
Pen pal while he was locked away.
Just for my own reputation. He's actually, I seen him a while back. a kid I know, he's still hanging around with him. And he's got a massive beer belly now.
Does he?
He's hammering the drink like
He'd look sickly. He'd look sickly with a beer belly.
He's got like ET arms and then a rice belly, you know what I mean?
I was going to say it'd be an ET setup, I reckon. He's that rig.
He's horrendous. Horrendous. But no, but James Milner, he was there. I don't think Stevie Taylor, but I mean he's playing American now, I think.
Australia.
He's actually at Wellington.
He's at Wellington.
Yeah, league, mate.
Has he moved there?
Yeah.
He's but I think that was your main.
Yeah.
That was your main probably players that you'd remember, I'd say.
Yeah.
Brad Ledbetter, who's that son, and obviously you know Quan.
Yeah.
That's probably it, really, man.
Yeah. All right. And I think didn't you went out on loan? Correct if I'm wrong. Huddersfield rings a bell. So you went down there. Was that, I suppose, to gain first team experience? What do you think?
Yeah, well, Mick McCarthy pulled us. I was flying in the reserves, and it was at the point where I wasn't really benefiting from it.
Yeah.
And I think I was 18 at the time, so I already had a lot of reserve games under my belt. And then Mick McCarthy said, "Look, if you go on loan for a month, we'll extend it to 2, depending on how it's going." He says, "If you do well, you'll come back and you'll play."
Yeah.
It was simple as that, really. It was one day I was playing in the reserves. Next minute, I was shipped off down to Huddersfield and played, I think it was 8 or 9 games or something like that.
Yeah. What was it? What was the change from? I mean, we always talk about like whether 18-year-olds are ready now to go into the first team in the MPL or the BPL even and things like that. Like 18-year-old going into what would have been
it's League One.
League One. So it's the third tier of English for physical. What was that like? Was that like a baptism of fire? Did they pick on the young kid?
It was weird. I mean, they had like older pros, if you know what I mean, like Andy Booth. I don't know if you remember Andy Booth, Steph White and all that. But it was relatively like an older squad. So me coming into that, it was, do you know what I mean? It was hard to adapt, but that's when you really felt like a kid.
Yeah.
Started off and it was very old school. I mean, it's probably changed now, but it was running.
Yeah.
You know, it's what you'd imagine League One at that time to be. And yeah, the lads were great. I mean, the lads were absolutely brilliant, but it took about a good couple of weeks to feel part of it. And yeah, it was just a massive transition. You're going from the academy, which is like, you know what I mean? It's probably one of the best in Europe. You know what I mean? It was literally like a school field you were playing.
Yeah.
So
who was in charge? At Huddersfield?
Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Can you remember him, the long hair?
He fancied himself a bit.
He called himself the Mourinho of League One.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was he was good. He smoked about 50 fucking fags a day, like. But
did he?
Just go in his office and it would just be a cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
And I think
sounds alright.
He always smelled well. But no, he was brilliant. Like as a manager, old school, good man manager. But no, it was an enjoyable time, to be honest. Yeah.
And obviously did well enough that did McCarthy again take over.
Yeah.
McCarthy got the bullet. That was the year Sunderland were even worse than the Sunderland now and got 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
So McCarthy got the bullet with about 10 to go.
The thing is, with that year, I mean, the Gaffer never had a lot of money-wise to spend. He had literally nothing. I mean, it was probably a League One budget, to be honest. You know what their league, Sunderland's League One budget was now. Yeah, it was it was tiny. So we knew we never had the players to go into that season and actually stay up. Yeah. And he got the bullet. I can't remember what game it was after, but I was going to come back at some point anyway, because me and the Gaffer were talking about, do I stay for the playoffs because we got the Wembley? Yeah. That year, Huddersfield, or do I come back? And I think he was leaning more towards stay there, do the playoffs, you know, get a bit gain that experience what you wouldn't gain coming back to Sunderland. I mean, what experience would a young 18-year-old lad
Just
getting battered, battered every 90 minutes? And I mean, getting battered, you wouldn't leave your half.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it was that bad. So in an ideal world, if he never got the bullet, which it would have made no difference anyway.
Yeah.
I think he would have been a good championship manager anyway.
Right, he proved that, hasn't he?
He's proven. I don't know. It was a weird one. I don't know why the. I know realistically he was never going to stay up.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice if he did stay, because he thought highly of us.
Yeah.
And I would have get the chance to play at Wembley.
Makes it easier for a board or for a director to sort of pin the blame elsewhere if things aren't going well. I think that's really, when it's that far gone, it's like, well, here's a reason why, so he's got to go. You know?
Well, it's first thing to do is to blame the manager.
I think as well. I mean, obviously I was around at the time as a supporter, really, and he was starting to come under pressure a little bit. The thing that didn't help McCarthy, I think, and again, you can probably back this one up. He's not the type of manager who'll say things in the press to get the fans going. He's pretty down. And when the results are shit, you kind of need something to hang your hat on. And he wasn't going to give it. So I think in the end, the board probably thought, well, we can maybe. I think it was Kevin Ball they gave the job to as a club legend. Anyone who's never seen Kevin Ball played with his heart on his sleeve. He's not even a club legend; he's a city legend now. So they put him in charge, thinking we'd get at least a bit of fight in the spirit, and didn't really. I think they lost 9 and won 1 maybe at the end of the year. So
yeah,
but Bally would have been the one who brought you back.
Bally rang us. It was the day he sort of took over, which I'm guessing was the day after.
Yeah.
And he rang me. He says, "Look, you're coming back." And it was a weird one. I wanted, because Huddersfield were flying. I was flying at Huddersfield.
Yeah.
We're winning game after game after game, and as much as I wanted to come back to Sunderland, I never felt comfortable coming back to that atmosphere. You know what I mean? I don't think it's an atmosphere a young kid should be around. Do you know what I mean?
It can get a little bit toxic when things are not going well there. With big numbers as well.
Gotta watch Sunderland till I die.
Yeah. Oh, mate, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've watched it.
It was
shambles,
The thing is, it wasn't a toxic place as such with the lads, because the lads knew they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
I think there's
the expectation of the fans, isn't it, in the city, that such a massive part of the actual area that people actually, as you see, as Benny's made note of before, is they sort of highlight those fanatical fans in the show, but the majority of the city, for those sorts of people, it's such a massive part of their life.
It's their religion.
It is their life. It's their religion. Yeah, you're right.
You've heard it on there before, but that's all they live for. It's not a well sought after area. It's not a rich area. It's not. It hasn't got anything else as such rather than football.
Yeah, they're spending their hard-earned money.
Yeah, and I always, when you talk about it like that, Smudge, I almost, I feel bad because I think it'll come across in a negative way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's why they're really passionate. It's why Newcastle fans are passionate. It's why the Northwest are passionate. So when people say they've got nothing else, it's not the area's fault.
To be honest, I don't think they'd want anything else. Would that?
Just love it.
They wouldn't want anything else.
Football is it's all you do when you're young. So you kind of just fall into that habit, and that's why it's Tuesday night across here in a lockdown, and we're talking about football because we love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I understand what you're saying. Coming back to that, when you could have had another month and a half, experienced highs, and gained experience a different way. But I mean, you probably experienced a hell of a lot more by coming back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, in a different way. I mean, the thing is, if I did stay, we would have went on a good run and whatnot. But as a Sunderland fan, I always wanted to come back and play So I was always buzzing to play. You know, putting the shirt on, making your debut at that age and all that. It was brilliant. But it's like I say, if I was going to make my debut, I'd envisage it different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In an ideal world. But
do you think about like how it possibly could have been different if you had stayed at Huddersfield for that time, gone back to Sunderland and started fresh, in a championship
or something?
I think you'd have a different mindset. Your mindset will be totally different. I think after getting them batterings at the end of the season, it was hard, and if you come back, say for example, you went on a run and you played at Wembley and all that, you'd be flying, wouldn't you? Your confidence would be absolutely booming. And then you'd have your rest, you'd come back, a totally new mindset, fresh eyes.
Yeah.
You haven't seen that side of it. It would have been totally different. Because when I got there, you got to see there was no chair, there was no manager. I think Quinny took over after Bawley, who was the chair. It was just one big mess. And you got to see all that. God, the club's, it's in a bad way, you got to see all that rather than coming in pre-season right and flying. Do you know what I mean?
How you doing, everyone? Tom Carroll from Total Compression here. If you are like me and find yourself running for the fun of it during this isolation period, please jump across to www.totalcompression.com.au or our Facebook page at Total Compression and Instagram at Total Compression to get yourself an isolation pack.
So it was the debut against
Bolton. But that's when they had say Gary Speed.
JJ Okocha, was he there?
JJ Okocha was there.
Gary Speed, what a player. Rest in peace.
What was Ivan Campbell? Remember him? Who played for Real Madrid?
Ivan Campbell.
Ivan Campbell, brilliant man. So that was there. I think Sam Allardyce was still the gaffer.
Yeah.
They had a fair side back in the day, Bolton.
Bolton had a great side. I think
above their
they were finishing 6th, weren't they?
Yeah,
something like that. They were flying. And Kevin Nolan was there. It was a top player, really good.
Yeah.
But it was at the Reebok Stadium where I made my debut, and that was a good experience. I'd done pretty well. I didn't play the full game, but I felt I'd done well. I was out of position really as such because I came through as a left back. I was playing left midfield, but it was great to make your debut.
Yeah, and then it would have been within a few weeks of that, the Arsenal game that people talk about. We're going to touch upon it, Dan.
Got me, weren't you?
So you came off the bench in that game, is that right? Or did you start? You came off the bench. And for those who are not aware, it was later on you made a tackle on Abou Diaby, centre midfielder. Slightly late. Nothing malicious in your... I mean, you can talk us through it if you want. It's just a tackle.
Look, it started off, Bawley being Bawley was... We were getting beat at the time, obviously. They were flying, weren't they? They were unbelievable. Yeah. And we were just getting battered. So Bawley's his goal warm up and all that came back. He's got me, he's pulled me. He says, look, all I need to see is let them know they're in a game and, put some effort in, let the fans will love it, just to see a young lad come in and, show enthusiasm and all that.
Yeah.
That was it. I was obviously buzzing for the game. Got to play against some players you'd buy on Champ Man.
Yeah.
So I was just fired up, and I'm not a malicious player. I mean, I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
I'm more, that's not my sort of game. And it was just a late tackle. I mean, he's 6'3". His legs are probably 4 foot. And he's just, he's just nicked the ball. And I've already committed to wet pitch. That was it. That was it really. And then the rest was all downhill really.
So he broke his ankle, didn't he?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember the Arsenal players were going off it, and at the time you wouldn't have known how bad it was, I'm assuming.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just one of them. I had, there was like Fabregas and freaking Burkamp and all these lads they were hounding you, like you know and then I had Wenger after the game, and you know it all just got. It was as if I went out and shot the lad. You know, obviously I didn't make him do it. You know,
almost like you did it on purpose.
That's it. And I was just getting absolutely hammered. You know,
and for a young bloke to come off the bench and just put in essentially just another tackle, but for it to go that way, and obviously, as you say, you've not gone in to injure the bloke. It's just put your body on the line and let him know you're there, and it's just gone that way. Hey, but
that's it. I mean, the thing is, I think I had about 5 or 6 touches before that, and I felt good. Again, I was playing left wing. I only played 1 game as a left back. You know, the games I did play, which was frustrating, but I felt I was doing well in the game. I was getting touches. I was playing the ball, you know, playing left wing, popping into centre forward, going again, and that was just like the bit. It was just sort of out of the blue, you know. I didn't, like I say, it wasn't intentional. I couldn't say sorry enough. You know, at the time, I sent them get well soon sort of thing. Got nothing back, obviously, but after the game, Wenger was just down the tunnel blasting us. So I think
how old were you at the time?
I was 18 at the time.
18. See, that's
it's. I remember because to be honest, I remember sitting up. I was small, smaller than I am now. Obviously, I was only a young bloke at the time, but I remember because I'm an Arsenal fan, and growing up as a kid, I'd watch all their games.
You were the guy. You were one of these guys.
I remember watching the game.
You said there's a death for it as well.
Yeah, it would have
must have.
I got about that many of them.
Some 10-year-old kid in Australia, believe right? No, I remember watching the game, and I remember like you come off the bench and you're buzzing around, and even the commentators were saying like the young bloke is full of, you know, he's full of beans. He's all over the place at the moment. He started well. And then I don't remember if it happened or if I'm just thinking of it, but when the tackle happened, I remember one of the commentators just saying something along the lines of, you know, just a bit overzealous from the young bloke. And I'm thinking, he's just dead keen to get stuck in here. And it's like, and something that sort of reminded me of that situation was, I don't know if you guys remember Callum McManaman, the tackle he put on Haidara from.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because he was just like young bloke, new on the scene, just trying to sort of make his mark, and he was all over the place, and he was looking sharp, and he's just gone in over the top and just done like. And his was, in my opinion, his was much worse because he's gone in high. And
his was definitely worse.
But
Dan's.
Yeah, absolutely. Similar situation. Young bloke just buzzing around.
I mean, the way I look at it is, if I went in and I've smashed his leg high and, you know, not where the ball would be, you know, ever. Yeah. But the fact that it's his ankle does say something in my defence, you know what I mean? The ball is at that height, you know what I mean? Yes, it was late, I understand that, but it's at the level where the ball will be, if you know what I mean. So it's not like I've went in and I've you know, Roy Keane on the Haaland sort of thing and went for his knee and thought I'm going to, you know, that's not what I thought.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, you're talking about the McManaman one there. I remember the tackle, that one, and that is horrendous. When you look at it back, it's horrendous.
And the way he's gone in is horrendous. And that's what I mean. It's two different things, but the thing is Haidara recovered from his. And
you can still see us, I think, on YouTube, or at least you could a couple of years ago. And when the tackle immediately happens, you're like, there's not much in it. When it's slowed down, like all tackles are slowed down, you're like...
Anything slowed down, though, it looks naughty.
It looks naughty slowed down, but in actual time, it just looks like you've mistimed it slightly. And
how old was Diaby?
How old was he? He'd have been 24.
He'd have
been 20. But, I mean,
young 20s,
there was a French newspaper. I was actually, when I was in Australia, they rang me, a French magazine or something, and it says... Do you feel to blame for his career and all that, and you know, and what have you? I said, he had injuries before that, and he had injuries after that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And it wasn't. If it was a recurring injury, I would understand. And he was injury prone before he started that game, and he was injury prone after. Do you know what I mean? So
you know what? Even though he was injured, Arsenal kept him on, and he stayed on that contract the whole time. So he didn't really, you know, he missed out on a fair bit of football, but he's done all right.
Exactly.
The point Go on.
Go on
Sorry. No. You're right. I was going to say, well, the point that I would make is that as a manager of such a high regard as Arsene Wenger, like, I feel like, I know you're an Arsenal fan, Dust, but like for me being like not really a fan of either, is that that's such a, for such a young kid, like, could you imagine like any of us on the panel that haven't played at that level that you have, Dan, but as an 18-year-old kid just buzzing to be involved in the game, having such a high respected manager as of Arsene Wenger sort of going after an 18-year-old kid like that, which is like, what you're saying is like, you can tell that it wasn't malicious. It was just overzealous, a little bit late, a little bit mistimed or whatever. For someone of that regard to come after you that badly, like that must just have...
Did it have like a big effect on you, that, or was it just a case of it's another coach?
I remember, because obviously you look at Arsene Wenger and Alex Ferguson and all that, you're like, fuck. You know, you get to see them, never mind, you know, play against their team and all that. You'd be happy just meet them face to face, but you just look and you thought, is that what you really are about? You know what I mean?
That's what I don't get much.
Get my head around that.
Nah.
And see, that's the thing. It might have been different if it was one of those where you've gone in high where the ball wouldn't usually be, but it's a mistimed tackle. Like it's a mistimed tackle. Like it's not.
Like someone with that sort of stature in the game should be seeing past the incident and maybe like, you know, the arm around the shoulder moment and be like, look, mate, like, you know,
especially after the fact.
Like that, like for you personally going forward in your career could have done so much for you. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Well, it done the opposite, didn't it?
Didn't he come out in the press and ham you?
What's that, mate?
Didn't he come out in the press and just ham you as well?
Oh, he hammered us. Absolutely.
What did he call you? He called it a few years later, the assassin.
It was the
assassin from Sunderland.
Aye. I thought you meant he's just talking about me looks and that, just being an absolute.
Well, like, let's be honest, you're a good-looking guy.
No, it came out and I think it went on for about a week.
Yeah.
This possibly longer.
Imagine that happening like in today's society with all the mental health movement and everything like that. Like a coach of that stature berating an 18-year-old kid, like it wouldn't happen. And if they did, they would be put up like they'd be held accountable because like to me that's just not on.
But I remember after the game, we went in for a cool down or something after the game. I think it was whatever game. I think it was Saturday. Went in for a cool down Sunday because I think we had a midweeker, and you've got like the PR woman and the people upstairs who do all the admin and all that. She came in. She says, "Right, Dan, normally you get your fan mail on one side and you get your hate mail on the other." So I've got one kid with a card with a crayon. There's one fan mail saying, "Oh, like good luck and all that."
That was me.
There's a pile of hate mail like this, right? I'm not kidding you. If Evan London will kill you and all this, like, oh man, got absolutely hammered. It was crazy, like. And I mean, when I say hate mail, it was for about a week. It was mad.
Is it good? Is it like? And speaking now, like, are you relieved that didn't all happen in this day and age? Like back when it was actual mail, you know.
You're not big on social media, though, are you, Smudge? Really?
No, not massive on it, mate. But the thing is, it doesn't matter which way it comes, whether it's by mail, whatever. I think once you get 10, you could get 310. Yeah. It's all the same crap in them anyway, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, I think it was just the press built it up so much as well, though. Like in the middle page spread, I think at one point it was just ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous amount for especially for a teenager to deal with.
From memory as well, Smudge. And I was at the point, I think it was Sunderland at the time, where I'd almost switched off a little bit that season. It was that bad. Like that year was that bad. It was just like, get the end of the season, start again. But didn't... I mean, Arsenal fans, obviously, they were pointing the finger big time. But even Sunderland fans, they almost went the other way as well, didn't they? Like Bawley said, get yourself stuck in and stuff like that. But like even the Sunderland fans weren't sort of getting behind a young player like they might.
No, I mean, I didn't feel any, to be fair, and it's pretty crap. I didn't feel any support really from the club as a whole.
Yeah,
I went out afterwards on Sky or whatever because I think the game was televised, and I apologised and what have you. I couldn't be more apologetic, but I felt it was all me.
Yeah,
I had no one to say, listen, this is, I had nothing around us, which I was a bit annoyed with the club, to be honest. I mean, an 18-year-old kid who's gave you everything.
I couldn't even wipe my ass at 18, let alone handle something like that.
But especially when you're lining up to go on and your manager's got his arm around you saying, go out and put yourself about, to not have that arm around you afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, Bawley was probably the biggest, he came out in fairness, but he came out and said, he never meant to, he's not that sort of player. I love Bawley to bits. Bawley's brilliant. But, I mean, not from Bawley's perspective, but it was more from, you've got the PR woman and it's the behind-the-scenes thing that should be taken care of. But it was almost as if, like, there you are, Dan, you've made your bed sort of thing. Which was a bit crap from the club because I've been there from 7-year-old. It was a vulnerable time, to be honest.
Yeah, made a scapegoat almost.
Because nowadays, or maybe even when you were around, because you came through with like Jordan Henderson, didn't you?
Yeah, he was obviously a few years younger than me.
Yeah. But yeah. Do you get at that age and at that time? I mean, media train. I know they get it now. They get media trained so that they know when something bad coming, how to handle it, and what to swerve and stuff like that. Did you get that at the time, or was it a little bit before then?
No, it was. That's when it just came in, really.
Yeah.
And I felt I was always decent speaking anyway. To be honest, I was always comfortable. But it's more. See, I had one chance to apologise, which I felt was enough. But you had Arsenal coming out and this coming out and that coming out, and nothing from the club that I played for, to give me anything. Do you know what I mean? Which I felt, geez, that's a bit. It was a bit much, to be honest. It was a bit. I felt a little bit let down by them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know.
It seems
hard to say when it's your boyhood club.
Yeah. Especially a club you support as well as play for. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I understand they were going through obviously a really, really bad patch. But local lads.
It's not an excuse, really.
No, not at all. So that was that. Like I say, the death threats happened, and I moved on. For a young kid, I thought I took it pretty well.
You ended up leaving at the end of the season, then, at that year.
Yeah. Well, what happened was I had a contract extension, so it was my decision on to leave or not. Whether it was me, I mean, I'll just come out and say my agent now was absolutely brutal, right? Yeah. Terrible, shocking. But I went in, there was no manager. There was no, I think at the time, the chief executive was acting as the chairman, or I can't remember what happened, but it was basically a massive shambles. It was just a massive shambles. You had no one to sort contracts out or anything, really. You didn't know who was coming in. There wasn't a manager to say, yeah, we want to keep you. And anyway, I spoke to my agent. He says, look, what do you want to do? I says, look, see what they're going to offer. I want to stay. I was adamant I want to stay.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you play so many games, if you make your debut, we'll talk about renewing your contract, extending it. That's when nowadays you go from $2,000 a week to $30,000 a week, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's mad. But at the time, it was like, I was on not great money, but the term says, we'll extend your contract for a year. I thought, but they'll match the same money of what I was on last year when I was playing the reserves. I thought, that I wasn't asking for, all I wanted was a bit more longevity in the contract sort of thing. And I thought, a year to a young lad who's just made his debut in the Premier League at 18. He's represented the club, his country and all that at them levels. And I just thought a year's contract extension on the same money was a massive kick in the balls.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where's the reward in that, really? So,
Did your agent at that point start looking on your behalf, or was there offers coming in?
My agent honestly done absolutely nothing for us. I don't know. I can't stress enough how bad he was.
Do you think, Dan, also, as you said about like the Sunderland PR lady telling you all this stuff, do you think clubs might have thought if they chased you, it would be a PR disaster, a bad PR?
I don't know. It's hard to say really, but it was more. I mean, you'd think if someone's, I'm not bigging myself up, captain the country at international level, playing in the, making a debut at 18, you would think a few clubs would want to sign you, wouldn't you?
It's not like it was 4 different incidents or something. It was one tackle. Not like you made a career of it. It was one
debuting in the English Premier League at 18. Like, you're obviously a player. Like, you obviously can do it.
So I found that a bit weird. And then Aberdeen my agent rang us. I was that just pissed off at the time. He says, hey, Aberdeen want to sign you. I says, right, so fine. And I just left. I went up, took they give us a 4-year contract, which I thought better than a 1 year, really, innit? In terms of football. Yeah, you're not playing in the league you want to play in, but I was trying to start again, I suppose. And it's scary, but them and Bradford, I think, were the only 2 clubs that my agent got in touch with, and it just blows my mind that. I had plenty of clubs before that.
I don't want to the pressure a bit, but it was only about 5 weeks later Roy Keane took over at Sunderland and it took off again.
Wow. Right, so this is how bad it was at Sunderland. They thought I was on loan at Aberdeen for a season. This is God's honest truth. They thought I was on loan for a year. And I remember Jed McNamee rang. He's now the academy director. He was my under 18s or 19s at the time, whatever it was. He says, Dan, you'll never believe this. Obviously, Roy Keane's came in. He said, he thought you were on loan. I says, no, obviously not. He went, I know that, but he thought. So you've got like your loan list, who's coming back and what have you, and who's out. And he says, oh no, he's signed a contract with Aberdeen. He says, you've let it, and he actually, his words were, apparently, you've let an 18-year-old kid who's just debuted in the Premier League, playing for England, you've let him go for free. He couldn't get his head around it. And when I heard that, you can imagine how buzzing I was.
Yeah.
Being stuck in Aberdeen with fucking 300 sheep, you know what I mean? It was crackers. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't get my head around it. It was like, that was the last thing I wanted to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, because it took off like that.
Aye.
Yeah.
Brutal. I mean, that, and if you remember that year, how good they were, man.
Oh,
that's probably Sunderland's best time in the last decade.
Took them a couple of months to find their straps, but when they found them, fuck, it was superb. That
it was probably the happiest time in the last decade. Would you say?
You know, when these lads watch Sunderland Till I Die, and all they see is negativity and how shite it is. Honestly, when a team in the northeast are doing well, there's no better place to be. Fucking hell, that year in particular. In fact, the whole Roy Keane era was a pretty good place to be, wasn't it?
Well, I wouldn't know, would I?
No, you wouldn't. Not that when I said it. Thinking,
look at how cheese up there. But no, it was like I say, that was the biggest kick in the teeth for me. Like it was. I thought, but then all the what ifs come in, didn't they? Yeah. What if I just stayed on that contract? But I don't think no self-respecting lad who've got a bit confident in themselves would have signed that contract, that 1 year contract, did it?
Yeah.
What loyalty are they showing in you when you've shown them loyalty from 7-year-old? You know what I mean? It was, and it's more. I needed a reward. I didn't need a kick in the tits, really.
So from there, I think you stuck around for a couple of years, maybe, and then was it St Johnstone after that?
Yeah, I went there. They offered us a contract. It was really bad. Port Vale offered us a contract. It was really bad. I could have went there. Well, I was at Aberdeen I played a few games, got injured. Me and the manager did not see eye to eye at all.
Yeah.
Kind of stand the bloke. I hope he listens to this because he's an absolute tosser.
Was it?
Yeah, we're big worldwide guys.
Jimmy Calderwood.
We've got heaps of listeners everywhere, guys.
We'll get him.
Get on Talk Sport.
Didn't you have a Champions League night at Aberdeen? Was that?
It was UEFA. Yeah.
Oh, UEFA. Yeah.
Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, and that. It's good.
Ah.
It was decent, but it was like I never really got my feet off the ground there. Like the fans and that. I played first few games, played well, and then I was just binned off.
Yeah.
Didn't play. They hated us, and he's the player that signed us. I couldn't get my head around it. Even if you had the fans saying, "Why are you not playing?"
Yeah.
I went from playing against Aaron Lennon in the reserves at Sunderland to playing in Scotland reserves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was playing against Aaron Lennon lads that couldn't even, Celtic couldn't even buy them in the first team.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then after that, I just fell out of love with football, to be honest.
Yeah. Because I know that you signed for Gateshead. Was that when your aunt was in charge?
Afterwards, yeah. He just needed a left back, and obviously Ant knows what I'm about, really.
Yeah.
He knows what I can add to the team and give to the team and all that. But yeah, it was. I just went there, and then Gary Mills came in, and that's when I came to Australia.